Cats are easy. They are so easy.
You just give them extra of everything, and you can go out of town for a month.
Oh yeah. Like add an extra litter box. Yeah, for sure. Okay, so hey everybody, welcome to the Another Bourbon Show podcast, where we are talking about dogs and cats. like what else would you expect us to be talking about? Bourbon? No. We talk about animals. Hey, tonight we are going to be drinking another whiskey that is provided by Ryan. So Ryan, let's hold it up. Let's get the label rating.
Well, I like several of Yellowstone's labels. This isn't really one of them. This one is so plain, so bland. It's just, you know what? Let's take every like vaguely orangish, yellowish color that we can, but only the bad shades of them, and just smash them together and see what happens.
I mean, it's more brown or tan.
Yeah, brown, tan, but just like the worst shades of all that stuff, and just like it's piss yellow. You know what I mean? And again, I like some of Yellowstone's labels. This just is not one of them. I'm going to be giving this guy a 4. This one to me reminds me of just like the Spirits of French Lick the Weeder a little bit, and that it's just kind of like that dingy sort of motelish kind of look. It's it's going to get a subpar rating to me. I don't like the colors. I don't like what they did on this particular label.
All right, I can't blame you. And the reason I stepped away wasn't because it was time for your terrible label ratings. It was because I was looking for a bottle of my barrel select, my single barrels, and I don't know.
You just had it.
You just had it.
No, I know that. I know that's this one. But I was gonna have I was gonna have you do the other one, the single barrel version. This one's their limited edition. What would you give this one?
I would give that one like a 7 or 8. That one's pretty good. I really like how that one looks. I like the bottle that's on too. Granted, I don't grade that, but I just think it looks really good on the bottle, which goes a long way for the label. There's just nothing special about the typical bottle that Ryan's got there.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think that's fair. Yeah, I think that this label does look awful nice, and it complements the bottle for sure.
I really love. I'll say this about both labels. I really like the style and the font, how it like goes up and everything. It looks like that like postcard-esque finish, which goes great with the national park theme that they've got going on. I think that's a perfect choice, and I really like that.
And you know, they donate money to Yellowstone National Park every year too. I don't know if you knew that. Hey, since we're doing just a barrage of label ratings, this is also from Limestone Branch, and we had this during 4 Blind Rise night, but we didn't get a rating for that. What would you give this one?
For the minor case, I think it looks a little better when it's a full bottle, right? I'm judging this right now with just like the glass, but I think it really pops whenever you have the whiskey behind it a little bit. And I think I'd give that guy a probably a 7 as well. I think it looks pretty darn good. It's very medicine cabinet-y, kind of like a bullet or something like that.
Yeah.
Where it looks like it belongs alongside a Civil War first aid tent as much as it does your bar. And to me, that's a cool look and true to their roots, I guess.
Okay. It's a real cool bottle, yeah.
Whiskey.
Yeah. And you guys already know I like, this is one of my favorite finished rye that's cheap. And let's throw this one in there too. What about that? How's that label rating?
You know what, Ryan, this time around, I got to give he must have gotten Mahin involved.
Oh, 100%.
And I think the labels this time, I would give probably, in comparison to what we got last time, I give it like a 9 or a 10. But in comparison to the average human being, I would still give it like an 8. These are good.
That's an 8?
Oh, that's an 8? As far as like the labels that we hand each other, that's an 8.
Okay, that's fair. I
don't
can go along with that.
give it an 8 in like the Burt. I'm not going to put it up there with like Weller.
Well, the way your ratings are, who knows? It could.
Oh, bullshit! We're gonna fight tonight? Then that's what we're gonna do tonight.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's go. All right. That was
Yeah,
fun.
yeah. I didn't label those.
Oh, there was
We
no
know.
doubt. We knew. Yeah, Annie actually saw this and she goes, "Wow, Ryan's got really good handwriting." And I looked at
No,
her like, "Are you
no.
fucking stupid? Like, what are you
But
talking about?"
Yeah.
all girls, all
His would be
women
in
write the same.
crayon.
Yeah, all women write this like it's always so goddamn bubbly. Why do they all write like that? It's the same.
I think it's because they care.
Yeah, screw that, dude.
Boy, if Annie thought that that was Ryan's handwriting, I got some cool investment opportunities I'd like to tell Annie about.
Yeah, I think she figured it out on her own, like mid sentence, maybe
Yeah.
from the look on my face of what? What are you talking about? No. Well, what do you say we what why don't we drink?
Yeah. Yeah, that's
We
a good
should drink.
idea. Cheers.
Cheers, everybody.
Cheers.
And we already discussed I have not had this I've never had just like normal Yellowstone Select. I've had plenty of single barrels. I've got that one that I have not opened. But Steven, you've not had any, right?
I've not.
I stole
And
this from my dad. I haven't had this either.
So you haven't even tried it either.
No.
Okay. All
and
right. Well, this
I can't wait for the mash bill segment and everything because I know like nothing about this going into it. So I'm flying
Okay.
completely blind, other than I knew about the company and how they donated to Yellowstone Park, but that's it.
Okay.
I like the nose. The nose to me reminds me of a Beam product because I get a lot of peanut,
Yeah.
a lot of typical bourbon notes.
Beam family. Yeah. Did you even know that?
I didn't. Nope. So this is
Wait,
all off the cuff.
Okay.
Wait, you say
So
this is Beam Family?
it's Beam family, different distillery. So he would be the great. Okay, so the guy who shit, let me check his name. No, it's right here. Stephen Beam. Um Stephen Beam is the president and
Oh yeah.
master distiller of
Yeah, it's
Limestone.
right there.
Yeah.
Sounds like a smart guy.
I think if I remember correctly, Jim Beam would be Stephen's great uncle.
This Steven or Stephen Beam?
Why don't you guess, Ryan? Why don't you fucking?
He spells it with a V, dude. I'm just kidding.
No, he doesn't.
I made that up.
Okay. When he goes by Steve, he does, but he doesn't spell that Stephe. It's Steve. But okay, yeah, I guess I should have gone into that already, like the mash bill and whatnot. So the mash bill is actually undisclosed, and I think that they are still doing like I think that what we're drinking tonight is still a sourced blend that's not really specific to like they're not disclosing who it's from while they're still finishing up their own stuff because they just reopened a couple years ago. And this, I think, is also sourced. I think. But there is no specific age statement, but it's a blend supposedly of 4 to 7 year old whiskeys. It's 93 proof. Limestone Branch is a really old distillery. It's changed hands a number of times, but it shut down and then got reopened whenever these guys bought it and started distilling. But it is again Beam family.
Yeah. By the way, for 93 proof, it really feels like it's a lot higher in alcohol percent. This thing, every time I take a sip of it, I get that hug and a kick in the mouth. It seems like it's well above what it says on the bottle, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's definitely a kick to it, but I wouldn't quite say it's hug material because there's no. To me, the finish isn't that pervasive. There's some heat there, but it's not like there's no flavor associated with it, and it's not really like you feel it all the way down or anything. So this one's a challenging one because to me it has like up front, it reminds me a lot of like a Knob Creek single barrel or something like that, because there's a lot of peanut to me and a lot of heat that I think people typically associate with those picks. But there's not the finish that you would get with them, not really. So it's kind of light. It feels kind of young in that way.
So I agree with you on the front end, and on the back end, I feel like it is more wild turkey-esque. Like I get a lot of baking spices. I get a lot of nutmeg and that wild like to me it's got a very wild turkey finish to it. But not saying that it's sourced from wild turkey, just like I'm sure Steven, I don't think you're saying that it's sourced from Jim Beam.
Right, yeah.
But it gives me like it reminds me of those two products, like a combination of those two products.
And maybe that's why I feel like it like hits me on the back end. It's definitely those baking spices, like you said.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's very oily too. It's a very dry mouthfeel. That was the first thing that struck me. Just pouring this into my glass earlier, I still got some residue from where I first poured it in. I don't think there's any way you can see that, but yeah, very oily, very dry mouthfeel. And I think that contributes to that heat right away as well.
Yeah, so I mentioned before, I don't know if we were recording yet or not, that I've had a couple of different bottles of their single bottles, their single barrel expressions, like store picks, barrel picks, if you will. I actually stopped buying them because I did not like them. I think I tried two, and neither one of them I was like, I'm not spending any more money on these single barrels because I didn't really like it. But I gotta say that I actually like this off the shelf Select better than I've liked either of those two barrel picks that I bought. Part of it could be my mood tonight. Part of it could be the company that I'm in.
No, it's not the company.
Yeah, probably not. That's unlikely. That's unlikely.
Can I hit you with a weird note that I've got on the finish now?
Yeah.
Is a little, very slight kiwi. Like it just tastes like the mouthfeel after you've had a kiwi, and then like the actual flavor of it has worn off. There's a little tartness in there, and it's a little citrusy, a little acidy, and I feel like it's a little kiwi-y.
I've never eaten a kiwi.
You haven't?
No.
What?
How have you not had a kiwi?
It's got hair on it. I mean, I'm not going to eat that. I've never seen kiwi and be like, yeah, I want to eat that. It looks disgusting.
I fucking love kiwis.
All right, maybe I'll try one, but I've never had the inkling to be like,
you don't eat the hair.
I know, but there's hair on it, you know? It's gross.
I don't know.
I fucking love kiwi.
Yeah, I feel like it's a good combo. You've had strawberry kiwi flavored stuff for sure, though.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, that's all artificial, though. I've never actually had the fruit.
Well, you need to. They're really good. We're
gonna find out Ryan's like deathly allergic to kiwi. Like if you haven't had a kiwi by the time you turn 30, you're supposed to like not have kiwi, it turns out.
So here's what you need to do, Ryan. Like you need to eat like 2 kiwis back to back and then some shrimp cocktail. That's the perfect combination for you, Ryan. And to the listeners, if you didn't know, Ryan has a major shellfish allergy. So, yes, I want Ryan to die. That's what I'm saying.
Right before you die, whenever things are getting dark and you see the light in the tunnel, you're going to be like, Steven was right about the Yellowstone.
Yeah. Here, I'll try a kiwi this weekend, all right? Sound good? I'll report back next episode. Whatever whiskey of mine we're doing next.
I feel like it's gonna blow your socks off. I couldn't imagine like just the sheer amount of edging of not having a kiwi for 30 years and then having a kiwi for the first time.
Yeah, I've never eaten a plum.
That's
What?
fine.
God,
That's
what
fine.
other
Though.
what other fruits have I not eaten? I've not eaten a lot of fruits.
Have you had mango?
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of mango.
Papaya?
I mean, I like mango beers and stuff, but actually eating mango, I don't like.
Okay. What about papaya?
No, never had papaya.
What about
Uh,
jackfruit? That's a weird one. That's pretty good.
they're terrible though.
Never even
You
heard
really
of
don't like
that. So.
jackfruit?
I don't like jackfruit.
It's a lot
You
of
know
work
what?
to get only a little gain.
And vegans kind of ruined it for me.
Mm.
Like, I accidentally went to some vegan restaurant in St. Louis
Oh,
one time, and I didn't know it was vegan. Like, I had heard good things about it, and I was like, oh, let's try whatever the name of it was. And I walk in, and pretty much as soon as I walk through the door, I recognize that this is not a place for me. But now I'm in there. Like, if I had noticed as I was walking in, I could just turn around and walk out. But when I'm already like standing in line and noticing, fuck, I done fucked up, now I'm in for it, right? And I had like a jackfruit burrito or some shit like that because that was the only thing that sounded even somewhat good. And that was a mistake. It was not good.
Have you ever had jackfruit outside of that though?
I have, and was still just like, meh.
Nah. Yeah, it's one of those things that if you get like a ripe jackfruit, it's basically like nature's starburst. Like it's a very like sweet, juicy taste. But if you get it but it's so hard to hit that right line. If you hit it on either side of that, it's just like either so or bad.
Okay, well then that's maybe the problem.
Yeah, but it's
Next time
Yeah,
we're together, we're gonna hit a produce stand up, and you're gonna find me a perfect jackfruit. I'll buy it, and we'll eat that motherfucker right then and there to make sure that it's perfect.
I've never
a date.
heard of
It's
a
a date.
jackfruit.
It's a date.
A date joke. A date. A date. You know.
Yeah, Ryan, have you ever had a date?
Ah, disgusting. Yeah, not a fan.
What?
Ugh, terrible.
I'm sure he's had all the ones like
I would rate a date lower than will it.
That's
Wow.
bad. I don't know that. I don't think that's fair.
I don't like dates, man. I think they're ugh.
And you're
They're just
married to a
gross.
Muslim.
Yeah, I know.
There's a
I
problem.
mean,
And you're Jewish. That's a problem.
they're the texture just gross. It's just gross. It's like eating a raisin. It makes me want to gag.
All right.
Dan, you talking about going into that vegan restaurant and like once you're in there, you're just like, well, now I'm in here.
You're committed.
I had that feeling before. Me and my brother-in-law were in Arizona. I was visiting my sister and him, and we were just kind of out like fending for ourselves that day because the girls were doing something else. And he was like, "Hey, you want to go find out whatever this bookstore is that I've always been curious about?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure." And it's a metaphysical bookstore that's like on this strip, and we had no idea what that was. And we walk in, and like as soon as we walk in, and keep in mind that this guy, my brother-in-law, he's like 6'8", like he's like a massive dude. Okay, we walk in to this metaphysical bookstore, and I remember he like has these sunglasses on, and we walk into the building, and I start looking around, and it's just a bunch of like crazy cat ladies standing around among like crystals. And
I was gonna say,
like,
how many crystals were there?
a ton of crystals, and then there's like literally cookbooks for your cat that are like on stands and stuff. And as I'm panning across, I then pan up to my brother-in-law who's taking off his sunglasses. And I remember as he takes off his sunglasses, his pupils were just incredibly wide. And he just goes, "We fucked up." And then, but we both knew we had to browse a little bit because as soon as we walked in, there was like a book club meeting, and they all looked at us. So
you hear like the record scratch.
Yeah, and we had to like pretend like we were like, all right, let's go through the shopping list. Like, do they have this and that we're looking for? And we had to kill like 6 or 7 minutes before we finally got out of there. But it was
You're making up author names.
it was the longest 6 or 7 minutes of my life. I went straight to the cat cookbooks though and started looking at different dishes.
Yeah.
that you would cook for your cat. And they were like full-fledged meals. I mean, it's talking about like this is a great way to reuse like used peas or something like leftover peas or mashed potatoes or something. It was like full 3-course meals for your cat, complete with like pictures of this lady who is, I'm certain, dead. And,
Oh God. And
do
then you're
not
just
recommend.
like in a situation like that, you're just begging that an employee doesn't come say, "Hey, can I help you find something?"
Oh yeah.
No. No, you can't. I promise you.
I
That's
think
not
they
possible.
knew. I think they knew there was a mistake, though. I don't think we played it off as cool as we thought. And I think our constant snickering and everything probably gave it away as well. And I don't think he was super quiet when he said we fucked up right when we walked in either.
Now, I do want to be clear that like even currently, I would say that most of the time at lunch, I eat vegetarian on purpose. Like I intentionally eat vegetarian at lunch just because like it's easy and yeah, it's really easy to be vegetarian for like one lunch or one meal per day, and it's really good. So I'm okay with vegetarian, but I'm also the type of person who will go if I'm at a restaurant and I want to eat vegetarian, I'm going to eat something off of a normal restaurant's vegetarian menu, not someplace that is strictly even vegetarian, let alone the extra step of going all the way to fucking vegan.
You know what I think one of the key differences is there, Dan?
What?
Is, well, obviously vegan's different, way different. But one of the key differences I think in the vegan as opposed to vegetarian meals, they can be very similar, but vegans typically do a lot more meat substitution. So it's a burrito, but it's a jackfruit burrito. Whereas the typical restaurant that just has vegetarian dishes, they're kind of their own thing. And I wish that like every once in a while, if you're going to eat vegetarian, I wish more places had stuff that's just like, just let it be the fruits and
Yeah.
vegetables that it is. Don't try to do like a plant burger or something.
Yeah. Like I got really mad at Annie one time. She was like, "Hey, we're going to try." Now, understand that in our household, she probably does like 70% of the cooking and I do like 30% of the cooking. So I don't want to sound like a big old sexist like I'm Ryan when I say this, but like one day she was like she's like, "Hey, we're going to try cauliflower rice tonight with this meal that you would usually use rice for." And I took a bite and I was just like, "This is not cauliflower rice. This is cauliflower. Like it's just fucking
cut in a little
cauliflower."
rice.
Like, don't try to trick me into saying, "Oh, well, this is cauliflower rice." No, it's just fucking cauliflower.
Yeah.
That's bullshit. Don't try to trick me. That's my point.
I remember I had Jesse and I for like a week we did like a vegetarian thing one time, and we got like a vegetarian pizza that had like a cauliflower crust and everything, and then it had pepperonis on it, and that was the fuck up on our part because the worst part was these disgusting pepperonis. Now,
Yeah.
the cauliflower crust wasn't great either, but it was like passable, especially with everything else. But it was like, dude, just make a supreme pizza or something like that, or like a or veggie supreme or whatever you call it pizza. Let it just be like pizza already doesn't have to have meat on it, and it's really
Right.
good. Why are you putting on this weird pepperoni?
How about this? How about this? How bad you want pizza or fucking chicken fingers? How about just eat that? You clearly want it. If you're replicating all this stuff to make it seem like it's the same exact thing, how about you just eat the real thing?
Well, because dude, they're trying to be more fucking
screw,
sustainable,
no, screw that. You want a chicken finger? Eat a chicken finger.
Well,
Don't get on your vegan high horse saying, "Oh, it's fucking mushrooms mixed with fairy dust and grass." Here you go. Just eat the real thing. I'm sick of this stuff, man.
I think it's
I'm sick of
really
it.
I think it really undercuts your soapbox, the fact that you've never had a kiwi and you're like rallying against the vegetarians and vegans.
We'll go down to Texas where wild boars are just devastating ecosystems. We'll kill
Yeah.
some of those and make some bacon out of those because those pigs are assholes.
Oh,
Yes,
yeah.
they are. Yeah.
Ted Nugent's got that covered though, right? Or like who isn't he one of those that like
He'll get on
shoots
a
like a
helicopter and
machine
just
gun?
mows them. Yeah.
He's definitely killed a fucking kid from up there. You're telling me Ted Nugent has never flown over just accidentally and just like slaughtered a family? Can you imagine living in that region and just like having to be like, we got to stay inside tomorrow? Ted Nugent's going to be in the sky fucking raining ammunition.
So we talked I mean, you know, content wise we've actually talked about the bourbon quite a bit. We were just very succinct tonight.
Yeah.
No fluff.
You know, I didn't know what to expect from this. I like it a lot. It's good. I mean, the price, it's like $50 a bottle. It's a little pricey.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, sometimes you can find it cheaper, closer to $40, but it's good. I mean, I like it a lot.
I'm going to reiterate that I actually like just the off the shelf Yellowstone Select better than I liked either of those two bottles of single barrel.
Is it by a lot more?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the more I drink it, the less I pick up that earlier, like more peanutty taste, and the more I pick up the spices.
Mm-hmm. I think the
that's
same
what-
thing.
Yeah.
It's getting more and more turkey-esque to me.
Yeah.
This
So it's interesting too on the bottle. Literally all the notes we've said are listed like to the nose, it's leather with hints of citrus and oak. There's that citrus, Stephen. On the tongue, it's spicy rye with soft cherries fading to smoked caramel. And a memorable finish, rich with brown sugar and Kentucky tradition. So a lot of the notes we talked about, they actually describe on the bottle. And we didn't do that intentionally because I never read that before.
We didn't do that intentionally because I don't know how to read. So take
Yeah.
that, listeners.
Suck it.
I would disagree with them on that finish, though. I just don't think like what I would classify as the finish itself has much brown sugar or anything like that.
Yeah, it's much more baking spice for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. And honestly, that stuff happens so quickly, it's almost part of the palate to me. Because I don't want to distinguish too much here or get too wishy-washy with it, but I feel like this doesn't have much of a finish.
I completely agree with you. Absolutely, completely agree with you. It's a very short finish. It's a pleasant finish, but it's gone in a flash. All right, so let's go ahead and rate it. Who wants to go first?
I'll go ahead and go first.
All right.
I'm going
Let's
to be giving this guy a 7.4. I think it's a pretty strong showing from Yellowstone. It doesn't have every single aspect I would want from a whiskey, but I think it's strong, and you would hope that it is because it's getting up there into $50, you said. While that's not part of my rating, I think that if you're going to have a $50 bottle and you're not getting at least a 7, I could just never recommend people buy your bottle. But I feel like at this price point with a 7.4 or higher, I'm putting it in that category where it's like it's well worth trying. And it very well for you could be an 8, just depending on your taste. You know what I mean? Depending on what you're into. But I think for me, it's just an above average whiskey. I'm glad I tried it, and I'm excited to see what else comes from them as they get more of their own juice inside it. It's also cool that the money goes towards a national park. I think that they're a distiller to watch out for sure.
Ryan, you want to go next? Or do you want me to?
Yeah, I'll go. I wasn't sure what to expect from this. It's been sitting in my dad's basement for a long time. And I mean, here's what's left after I didn't drink all this. I gave you guys the samples, and then, you know, I've had 2 glasses now. So people seem to like it. They kind of gravitated towards it at my dad's bar from how almost empty that bottle is. At first, it really hit me in the back of the throat with all the spices and kind of turned me off at first. But the more I drink it, you kind of get that cherry note in there, maybe a little citrus, like Steven said. I really like those baking spices, and I know it's like a short to medium finish, but it's an easy sipper. It's a little expensive, but I don't think that really detracts from it in any way. If I was at a bar, I'd order this, just straight and drink it and be fine. The proof isn't too high, but it does kick up in my opinion. I'm gonna give it a 7.3. It's better than I thought. It's miles better than Willet, and I'll definitely buy another bottle if the opportunity comes up.
I think this would make a great old fashioned. I didn't mention that earlier.
I've never tried any of their products in an old fashioned. I've not done that before.
I could see that too, though. Yeah.
So I had a number in my head, like early on. It has not moved off of that number, and it makes for a neat little situation here. I'm gonna give it a 7.2. Right from the get-go, I was like, yep, this is once I had gotten about halfway through my glass, I had decided it was a 7.2 in my eyes. And so we got a 7.2, a 7.3, and a 7.4. We are all basically right in the same area. And it is weird to me that the single, like the barrel picks that I've had, I did not like. I didn't like them. It's not that I didn't like them as much as this. I did not like them. Matter of fact, I went to an event over at Dean's Liquor Store probably a month and a half, 2 months ago, and he was debuting it, and I turned down even having a sample of it. I didn't even want to try it because I was just like, I don't like it. I grabbed a different barrel pick, Ezra Select. I grabbed that and took that home instead. But I had totally given up on the brand itself, if you will. But having this one, just they're off the shelf, I will give another chance to a different barrel pick. Yeah, I think it's a 7.2. I think it's good all around. I do feel like it's got a whole lot of similarities to turkey products. I think it's more similar to turkey products than anything else out there. So if I was a betting man, I would say that they source whatever's not their own from Turkey. So 7.2, it would go up to a 7.6, 7.7 if the finish was just a little bit longer. But it is, to me, it's a very short finish, but it's a really pleasant finish. And something I picked up on with that last big sip that I had was like a little bit of a marshmallow type flavor to it that I didn't get before, but I did on that very last sip, and I really enjoyed that. So yeah, 7.2. That's where I'm at.
Another Bourbon show. Another Bourbon show. Another Bourbon show.
I feel like it's a little kiwi.
I've never eaten a kiwi.
You haven't?